and today we are making stuffed arepas with chicken guiso.
Yeah.
Yes. In Colombia, it's also called ogao, and it is in Central America, South America. It is a very popular sauce or a base that you use to add to anything. Essentially, it's with tomato paste, tomato sauce, garlic and onion, and any seasoning you want depending on the dish that you can use it for, but you can use it for soups. You can use it for empanadas in Colombia specifically. Also, you can add meats to it, chicken, beef, etc. If you're vegan, it goes great with tofu as well. So we're gonna be adding chicken to ours, and that's what I'm gonna be making. I'm gonna be making the sauce, the base of it all. And Emily is gonna be making the arepas. And she's gonna be showing you guys how to make it, and we're gonna be cooking it all at the same time. It's a very easy and quick meal. It's one of our favorites, honestly.
Yes.
I crave it so often. So ingredients specifically is linked in the description. If you want to go check that out, go check that out. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we're gonna get into it. So, okay, woohoo! You want to talk about what we use? So for the arepas, you use corn flour. This is based in Colombia specifically, the recipe. But we are going to be using.
Yeah, it's called harina or
It's
corn flour.
Corn flour, essentially. And this is the kind that we use. We've been using it since, not sponsored by the way, but we've been using this for forever. Using that brand forever. Specifically good for making arepas. So,
yes. And other stuff that I usually just make with arepas. So I already have an open bag here, and
I have a trash can here.
Oh, you have a trash can there? Yay! There you go.
And obviously, if you guys have any questions at all about the recipe or anything about the ingredients that we're using, let us know and we'll answer them the best we can.
So into like a giant bowl thing, you're just gonna add, I think I do usually around 2 cups, but again, that's usually for 6 people, so
you may have to
cut
the recipe. This is for usually a family of 6, and we eat a lot. Especially the correct amount of ingredients, so technically again in the description, but here it's going to be a little bit different because I'm feeding my siblings as well.
So usually 2 cups is around half the bag, but since I already had a bag open, I'm going to use a little over like a quarter, I think.
I'm going to start what I'm doing. I'm going to first finely chop a white onion, and we have our stove here ready. I'm just gonna start heating it up a little bit. Okay. You want to keep going? Taking the skin off of the onion.
So once you have your corn flour into the bowl, you're gonna add the salt. You're gonna add like 2-ish teaspoons, maybe a little more. For our amount, that's what I'm gonna add. And you're just gonna, literally you just need to use your hands. I usually do like a bear claw kind of thing. I just mix it together a little bit.
A lot of these recipes, especially if they're based in South America, you will be using your hands a lot. You don't have to use your hands. You can use other tools like a wooden spoon. We just find it to be a lot easier. It's usually the traditional way to making arepas and stuff, but hands are always a lot easier to work with. That's what my mom would say. She would say, your hands are your biggest tool, your best tool in the kitchen.
Tool in the kitchen, yes.
And so, yes, if you can use your hands, it's always the best thing.
Then after you have the salt mixed in with the corn flour, it's weird because I just call it harina, or I call it the arepa base.
Harina is in Spanish.
Yeah. We
got a lot of pork fat here.
Yeah.
My mom recently had a job where she was just cooking for a big Christmas party, and they were cooking pork, and once they were done cooking the pork, somebody was gonna throw it away, and my mom was like, "No, like this stuff is like liquid gold here." Well, it's actually not technically liquid; it's solidified, but it's great for cooking, like really good for cooking. And when my mom brought that home, we were like, "Yes."
So you're literally gonna add like a chunk just into your flour.
I'll be using this for the pan as well as a nonstick.
You literally just
as an oil, as a fat.
since it's solidified, you're not going to mix it in all the way. You're going to just try like breaking it up. You also don't have to use this. You can use like butter or some sort of like ghee or I haven't tried it with like an oil. I don't see why that wouldn't work, but if you have like a butter, I would recommend to use that instead.
And obviously, if you're vegan or you don't want to use a animal fat, and like Emily said, she hasn't used certain oils, but avocado oil, olive oil works nearly the exact same. So when I make my flour tortillas, I do use beef fat or bacon fat because it's good with flavor. So if you want flavor, doing that, putting it into your dishes works great.
So I'm just like grabbing whatever pieces of the fat that I found and I'm just crushing it with my fingers. Try to like evenly distribute it throughout the corn flour. So once you can't see too many chunks or your hand gets tired or whatever, it's like, because you're gonna add water in afterward, that's what's gonna make it into a dough. This is just like your first steps in order to start that process.
What I'm doing with the onion, I cut the onion in half after peeling it, and I kept the core part. This is what keeps the onion together. And doing this while finally dicing your onion will hold the entire onion together, making it easier and safer to, again, cut the onion. This goes for a lot of things. Hey guys, how you doing? And if you haven't noticed, I did switch knives. The other knife I was using was not entirely sharp enough. And was it dangerous? Like, was it too dull? No. Just personally for me, I like to be using the right knives, like knives sharp enough to do the job so I don't have to like fight with it. A dull knife is a dangerous knife. A sharp knife is a very safe knife. And so it's a lot easier to chop the onion now that I have a sharper knife. So if you have to sharpen your knife or get a newer knife that's sharper, then get it, use it. No hassle at all, and it's a lot safer to use.
So once you have everything mixed together for the harina, what you're gonna do is, since I had 2-ish cups of harina here, or corn flour, you're gonna add double the amount of water.
Yeah.
So, whoa. It doesn't have to be warm water. You can use warm water. This is just normal water. But so I'm not gonna measure it because I make arepas like at least once a week, so I know how much usually I add. So I just kind of throw it in there, and I don't.
How much would you say that is?
Like this would probably be like 3-ish cups
in total. Will you just pour it?
What I just poured probably like 2-ish because I'm gonna need more.
You want a moist dough, but you don't want you don't want it to be battery. That's the goal.
Yeah.
We'll show you the consistency when she's almost done. Obviously, the measurements for water isn't going to be like the perfect amount for the batch that you're making, but it's important for you to know that you don't want dry.
Your onions are killing me.
Like, you want to know that you don't want dry arepas, but you don't want them too wet or they'll like turn into pancakes because you don't want them to be battered. So
you see, I just mixed it a little bit with the water, and it already is turning into a dough. It's like a really crumbly dough.
So yeah, crumbly means it's dry.
Yeah.
So she's gonna need a lot more.
So usually with the arepa mix, it'll like at first it'll seem like, oh, this is absorbing a lot of water, but once you add more, it's like this isn't. It doesn't like to absorb very quickly afterward. You do like after you do the first amount of water you put in. So it's like now you're just gonna have to. It's a lot more work than just doing what you did before.
All right. Where is that? So again, with the pork fat, what we got here, I'm just gonna get like a little spoon, and we're just gonna throw it in our pan as a fat. And again, if you're not comfortable with using pork fat, bacon fat, or you're vegan, you can use butter, vegetable oil. It's a seed oil. We usually don't recommend using seed oils, but you can use avocado oil and olive oil. And we do use olive oil so often. Like, it's like the second. I think we use olive oil more than we use pork fat or bacon fat. But
yeah,
you can use any one. This is what the onions look like. I finally diced them, and We're throwing them into our pan that is over medium heat right now.
So as you can see, it's turning into a dough. It's still a lot. It's too dry for you to make like balls out of it, but you're just gonna see how I wrap the whole entire thing and then I push it down. That's kind of how you want to mix it in order to get all the water into the dough.
Okay. So now that it's there, we're gonna let the onions soften. We're not gonna do any like adding a crust or anything. We're just gonna allow the onions to soften in the fat while we chop up our green onions.
No, I just realized I forgot to add corn.
Oh my goodness. I told you you should have a blender. So what blender are you using? You use corn. Typically, well, this is a very traditional way of how we make it. But you do, at times we do use a can of corn. You blend it up until it turns like into a paste and then you throw it in there. But that's okay, we just did like
Yeah, we don't technically use it.
It's just another way on how to make it. Make it like that.
Yeah, we only started using corn, like obviously just corn, like actual corn, and just blend it up. Only around like two-ish months ago, I think.
It's just another way of how to make it. Like, it's not any.
You could also into the batter dough. Oh my gosh! So into the dough, you can actually add like cheeses. So in the stage where like you're making the dough, you can add like cream cheese, any type of mozzarella cheese, shredded mozzarella cheese, any really shredded cheese. You can literally add into this, and it also is really good.
I got a bunch of like a literal bunch of green onions. You don't need to use this much. I said in the ingredients in the description you can use like 2 or 3. It's up to you whether you like green onions that much. We like green onions, so we're gonna. While again, I put the onions here to soften. You do want to mix it around. If you have to add more oil, I just added some more olive oil to avoid it like going crunchy, but you want it to be soft. That's the goal of this. And like mix it around.
All right, so I think the dough is pretty much done. What you want it is so here it's like a bit. It doesn't stick to my hand really, but it kind of does. You gotta explain that.
I do.
So it's like it's a dough. If you try grabbing it with your other hand, it shouldn't stick to you, but it should be really easy to like form. So when you roll it into a ball and squish it shouldn't make any cracks. Yeah. Like I'll show you when I actually flatten them. It shouldn't make many cracks. It can make a few or 1 or 2, but you don't want it all the way around because then you know that you probably needed more. It's not really going to affect the consistency of it, but it'll be prettier if you keep it more moist.
Okay, I just chopped the ends of our bunch of green onions. Washed, obviously, this kind of stuff has to be washed, and we're gonna dice it up real thin. So you grab it at the end of where you're gonna chop it, hold on to it real well, and just go down. This knife is a lot sharper than the one I first grabbed. Again, if you need to grab a new knife or sharpen the knife you're using, do so. It will make your life easier.
Yes, I think the dough is.
You want to show a close up on what it should look like? She's going to show you a close up on what the arepa dough should look like. That's how you know it's like moist enough. Because it's going to dry out when you cook it. And if you can tell it's too dry before cooking it, it will get drier when you're cooking it.
So how do I show it? Do we just grab it?
To show them the bowl.
Oh yeah, that works. So like It's a dough, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously, it's a dough, and it's like a bit sticky, but at the same time, it's super easy to form. It just kind of, it doesn't crumble. It's super soft. So it's like, it's, yeah. I have no idea how to form that.
Oh, that's good. You shouldn't see any cracks. That's the biggest thing. Like, you should not see any cracks.
But at the same time, you don't want it too moist to the point like if you have it on your hands,
Yeah,
you put it on. If it like, if it's it being too wet is if you try taking it off by just like if it's like on your hands,
It'll turn into a batter. Essentially,
yeah.
You don't want it.
You don't want it to stick to you. There you go. That's what I was trying to say.
Okay.
That was what I was gonna say. Okay. Now, you know what the. 1 second. Got too many things. Now we got the grill for the arepas. You can also like cook it on like a pan like what she's using. But since we have so many people in this family, this holds like around 7 arepas. So it's like so much easier to just cook all 7 at once than like 2 at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is usually for how we flatten them is we use small cutting board. And this is a gallon plastic bag.
It's an open, yeah.
But we cut it. So it's like at the edges, we just cut it down the middle. So it was like originally like this. Through the opening, we just cut it on both sides, and it'll make this nice long plastic wrap for us.
Just makes it super simple to put the ball of arepa, fold it over, squish it, and then I have to clean this off a little bit. Okay. I finished chopping the green onions, and I used the entire thing, white parts and green parts. This is what it should look like, and then we're gonna throw it in there.
So you're gonna grab like a handful of the dough, and you're just gonna roll it into a ball. Also, if it's like how you know that it's moist enough is if you don't really have to put effort into rolling into a ball. You just kind of do this a few times, and it'll be a ball. So we're gonna lay out our plastic sheet in front of us. I'm gonna put the cutting board real quick. You're gonna put it on the plastic sheet, like one side in the middle. Then you're gonna put the other side, and you're gonna just place it on top. This is so when you squish it, it doesn't stick to the cutting board and the plastic protects it. So you're just gonna squish it nicely. It depends on how thin or thick you want it. I usually do it to like it runs into the cutting board, runs into like the width of my fingers. So once I squish it down to my like chosen width, you can just pull it out, and as you can see, there's like no cracks or whatever in it. You're just gonna put it on the cutting board.
And we're gonna leave it like that until that side is cooked, but she'll explain that further on. I just put the green onions in, and we are going to be allowing it to soften. The reason why we wait for this process is because the reason why we don't put the green onions in typically with the onion is because they cook at different times, and you don't want to start like toasting the green onions before the onion is actually ready. But still, a simple process. And at this step, we're going to be adding our tomato paste, just like a tablespoon.
So usually when you do this, we make it thicker because, well, we're going to stuff the
yes,
guiso.
You make them thick. We like them thick.
Yeah, that's because we're going to stuff the guiso inside the arepa. We'll explain how we do that, but it's like we're going to have them thick so the arepa is sturdy enough to handle. And at the same time, it's like we decide whether we want them big or not.
Yeah, like it depends. Like if you're gonna stuff them, you're gonna obviously want to make them thick. Like how thick she has them and how big. But a lot of times the arepas are usually like they can be pretty small and pretty thin, or you can have like small arepas and have them like really thick. Cooking time will be different, but if you just keep an eye on anything will work. So, but we typically like to stuff them, so usually we have them this big. I'm toasting the tomato paste right now with everything. It's like allowing everything to chill together and become buddies before we add the rest of the ingredients. And again, if you have to add more oil, add more oil. Olive oil is so good for you. And so if you are using olive oil, I use olive oil for everything. Even if I am using the pork fat, I am using olive oil. It's easier to use. It's more handy and dandy. If you want to go specifically for flavor and not usually as a cooking agent, pork fat is great for that. But it's up to you and your preferences, really.
Yes.
But at this point, it's actually getting so pretty. What? I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I feel like right now we're in Food Network. We can literally be in Food Network right now.
We're in Food Network.
We're on our own Food Network. Like I grew up watching Food Network. We grew up watching Food Network.
Yeah, we did. So I haven't watched Food Network in
No, we haven't watched as much. I feel like Food Network, not gonna lie, kind of went a little downhill, especially with their competitions. It's like kind of a little phony. But when I was younger, my mom used to put it on a lot. I was obsessed. Like I would put it on my own. I would watch baking competitions, people actually cooking. I don't remember the girl's name, but she used to do like
Pioneer Woman?
Not Pioneer Woman. The other one, they're in a legitimate kitchen with people in the background. And they're like teaching you actively how to make stuff. We're basically that.
Basically.
It's looking really pretty right now with the green and everything. It's so good. And we're just toasting it around here. You're not really gonna get it to cook because this here just works great right here. I am lowering the temperature, so depending on how hot your pan is, you may have to lower the temperature. If your food is sticking too much, you may have to add, again, more olive oil, just a little bit. And the flavors and stuff is going to the bottom of the pan. So you just scrape that up. That's the flavors, people. That's what you want.
So this batch, like usual, when we make it makes 6, which is perfect because there's 6 people in my family. And then it makes like a baby arepa, which I always throw in there anyway.
And yeah, it depends on the size of how you're making them, but that's what that looks like right now. It looks so good. It's smelling so good. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was just saying that we made a baby arepa.
Just a baby. But I literally feel like we're in Food Network. I'm not gonna lie. This is our own little Food Network.
We're in our own Food Network. Yes.
Okay, so this can go either 2 ways. I'm gonna kill the heat so I don't burn anything. You do not have to add a protein to this if you don't want to. If you want to add like tofu, beef, or anything, cooking times may be a bit different. But for here, if you are adding shredded chicken, this here is shredded chicken. We buy in Sam's Club. This is actually it's a lot more convenient and cheaper in the scenario we're in as a big family that eats a lot of protein. Instead of buying a lot of packs of canned chicken, we found that it's cheaper to buy a big bag of frozen chicken breasts, and we boil that with obviously a lot of seasonings, and then we shred each breast and then put them in the bags throughout the week. And it has been working really well, and it's really convenient. You don't have to cook anything. You cook it all in one day. We usually do it Sundays, and then you just come in and you drop the bag and use it for whatever. It's great for lunches. It's great for meal prep. So that's what we use it for. But here, now that our vegetables are cooked and ready to go, we are going to add our chicken. You can add, if you want to use beef, you can add beef at this time. You just got to be careful with temperature and not, burning anything. You obviously got to be watching for how much oil you need. But again, what I said, this can go either 2 ways. You can add the chicken now, or you can add the can of tomato sauce, boil it down, add the chicken, and then put the lid on top and let it cook. What I like to do, usually what we typically do, is that we add all the chicken in, mix it up, add the seasonings, and then add the tomato sauce and a little bit of water. Again, it depends on, if you want it kind of soupy, saucy, or you want it like thicker. It really depends on how you want it and how much time you have, because we're gonna have to let this boil down a little bit. But again, you can either add this first or you can add this first. We're gonna add the chicken first, seasoning, and then our tomato sauce. Put a lid on it, and we're gonna let it boil down. So that was a lot of words. I'm almost out of breath.
So usually you want the arepas to cook evenly. Obviously, you want them all to be ready at the same time. So for this grill, usually the heat's at where you turn it on and off. The heat's mostly in this area, and it doesn't really cook as hot in this area, so you just want to rotate the arepas. It'll help it
if
cook
you're
evenly.
using
Something like
a
this.
little stove grill
Counter.
for top, that's usually what works great for that. What's the temperature you have it at on the highest?
400.
400 degrees. So on here it's 400 degrees. You do have to keep an eye on it. Make sure you're not cooking it too fast, but okay. Now seasonings. There's already a lot of flavor here, especially with the pork fat, but we like the seasoning. We are putting in like half a teaspoon to a teaspoon of cinnamon. I do find that it depends on how much cinnamon you like to add, but we like the taste of cinnamon, and it really goes great with this dish. So that's what we do. But you don't have to add a lot of cinnamon if you don't want to.
I'm not gonna lie, I have no idea how to use this.
I just watch you. So it's a cooking lesson for you guys, and it's a cooking lesson for everyone.
Yes. My brother knows how to make this. I do not. I just sit right here while she makes it.
Shout out to Andrew. He for my birthday, because they were trying to figure out. I don't even know what I wanted for my birthday. Let's be honest. Like it's so difficult because they were like, "What do you want to eat?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." Especially for breakfast. Like I have no idea what I want to eat for breakfast.
Yeah, I had to interrogate what she wanted.
So this is the cumin, this is the cinnamon, and we're adding that in. I didn't even know what I wanted for breakfast. We knew that Emily was going to be making this. This actually was my birthday breakfast. What else do we have with it? Bacon. We had bacon with it. What else did you need? Salt. Salt and pepper to taste. That's what we're adding here before we mix everything up. Let it cook down a little bit, and we're gonna add the tomato sauce. Andrew made this dish. When was my birthday? Saturday. My birthday was Saturday. I turned 17, and I'm actually really impressed because I gave the instructions to Andrew, and he made it perfectly. Like, am I wrong? Like, he made it so well. I was so impressed.
Literally told him
he's a little expert. Yeah,
I got this.
He knew exactly what he was doing. So we're mixing that up now. I did turn up the heat a little bit. Just make sure you're controlling the heat. You don't want anything too hot. Obviously, you can burn, but you do want to be careful with that. We're going to mix in our seasonings. We want everything to be combined and covered in everything. Super important. But it turns into this like really beautiful color. Oh my goodness. Okay. Give that a second and add a little more oil to it. Obviously, you don't have to be adding like technically like this much oil. I'm not adding a lot of oil anyway, but olive oil is good for you, and like don't be shy. Obviously, again, it goes with what oil you're using. If you're using canola oil or vegetable oil, you do have to be a little more careful because those are seed oils, like heavily processed seed oils, and they are not good for you. Obviously, if you're having it in moderation and once in a while you're enjoying fried foods or once in a while you want certain baked goods, perfectly fine, perfectly healthy. Just saying if you want to use oil often in your cooking, good alternatives are olive oil and avocado oil.
I must narrate what you do.
Mixy. Very nice yellow. It's a very nice color. Like, do you see that? Like, do you see how nice that is? It's like, it's like so nice. It's very pretty. Now we're gonna add our canned tomato sauce. You have the water still?
The water is right here.
Pour me some. When you do use cans like this, no, in the can. You were about to beat my entire lesson here. Okay, that's good. When you're using cans that have sauces in them, like tomato sauce, you do have a lot left over. So just getting a little bit of water, swishing it around in there, then pouring it in here works great. You're not wasting anything, and you're gonna have to add a little bit of water here anyway, and so it's good. What?
I got a shout out.
From who?
You.
Oh, right, yeah. Andrew just came over here and he literally went, And I was like,
And we were
what?
like, what?
And he's like, I'll try that. Yeah, go subscribe to Andrew. What's his cooking? Savory Cooking with Andrew.
Yeah.
I think I have him tagged in my channel. If you scroll all the way down in the homepage, it should say Savory Cooking with Andrew. There's a list of channels I have on there. Go subscribe to him. He has great content on there. But yeah, he literally made this for my birthday and like 10 out of 10. Like nothing, no complaints whatsoever. And again, I only told him the instructions once. I told him the ingredients once, and I think he had to clarify once for me. And then that, like literally that was it. Like that kid.
He's just better.
So impressive.
Very impressive. I would ask like a million questions. Yeah, she'd be like,
See,
and cumin. I'm like,
I feel like cooking is something you like. If you don't know how to cook, starting might be difficult, but cooking is something that is like a life tool that you never forget. Like if you get the basics, like Andrew knows the basics. He watches a ton of cooking videos, and so he's very well educated on the basics and like how things work and stuff. So if you just know the basics, instructions will come super easy.
Yeah.
All right.
You're cooking that too.
Yeah, this goes really fast. We're gonna let this boil down a little bit, mixing it throughout a little bit, keeping our eye on it. Obviously, you never want to leave the kitchen when you're cooking. This does cause. I'm gonna turn it on low a little bit and just allow it because it's like bubbling right now. And so we're just gonna allow the flavors and everything to do their thing. But this goes for anything. Like if you're ever cooking, never really leave the kitchen unless like if it's the context of everything or like something's on the stove that's perfectly fine to be left alone for a few minutes. That's fine, but usually you don't want to practice that habit because you can burn things so easily and it becomes like a fire hazard, a safety hazard. And just being in the kitchen, like if you have to turn off the heat, move the stove aside, move the pot aside, away from the stove so it stops cooking. And if you have to leave the kitchen, that works like that. Like moving everything aside, away from the heat, really does prevent a lot of bad mistakes. So, yeah. Emily, tell me something.
What do you want to hear?
I don't know. I can't read the comments. I'm so far away.
Okay. So it says, Andrew has always and always will be a trooper. If I win the lotto, Andrew, I'll hire you as my personal chef. $10 million sign on the bonus.
Yes.
That's so true. Andrew will do great.
Yes, indeed. Obviously, if you guys have any questions regarding this recipe, let us know. Just a reminder, tap the screen, like the screen, it helps boost the video and get the algorithm to know that this video is good and so other people should see it. Obviously, like and subscribe. And like and subscribe to Emma's channel, Self-Reliance for You. She is tagged in the description.
Yay.
Okay.
Now we're just letting everything cook.
How long does this have left?
I don't know, some time.
Yeah, but I'm asking you. With the heat, whether the inside of the arepa is ready or not. So you do have to keep an eye on that. And again, she is rotating them around. You usually don't have to do this if you're using like a pot like this or like a different stove. But this is like a countertop stove, and so the heat is unevenly distributed. And
I jammed them again.
Like half of them cook and the other half cooks. Like this goes for anything really. If you find that the heat is being distributed unevenly, you'd have to move them around. This literally just goes with cooking in general.
Yes. It is going so well.
The sauce right now is thickening up. Like it is. It's not too watery or anything.
So
like
good.
it's looking good. It's almost done. You can have it just like this and stuff the arepas like this. What I do find though is that if it's too watery, it will just like leak right through your
through the
arepa, and then
arepa.
it's like soaking wet, and then it's like dripping everywhere. So boiling it down some more, making it like actually really thick. Not too thick, like you still want it kind of like a sauce consistency. That's what makes it really good.
Yeah.
But if you have it too watery, it's just gonna like soak right through,
and then it's gonna be like, oh no.
Yeah, there's been times where I've made this, and I'm literally eating this entire dish. I'm just like I have like the sauce and juice is just all the way down my hands when I'm just trying to eat my arepa and stuff. So
I usually don't stuff it with the arepa. I usually eat the chicken on the side and then have the arepa like.
yeah,
separate.
that's just preferences. I feel like we're switching back and forth because I'm usually the one that's like the picky eater and I don't like my food to touch. But like when it comes to this, I like having them as one. And then my sister likes having it the other. What did we have yesterday? That you did the same? Okay, 2 days ago.
For what? That was Christmas?
My mom makes this dish and it's with sweet potatoes and it's like beef with a lot of vegetables inside of it. And you like cook the sweet potato and you smash it down and you put the beef on it. You don't eat it together that one time. I think.
I always eat things
You always eat
separately.
We're literally flopping back and forth. It's confusing. But that's one of my favorite dishes. We also had that for my birthday dinner. We had what else did we have?
The
Chili rellenos. One of my all-time favorite foods is chili rellenos. It's fried, but guys, once in a while, fried foods is not bad for you. It does not hurt your health whatsoever.
Yeah. If you want to bribe her with something, do it with chili rellenos.
It's so what it is that it's a wonton wrapper. That's usually it's like a big square, and it's usually for like egg rolls and stuff. And then it's with it's not jalapeno, but it's like something.
It's a pepper.
Chili pepper?
I have no idea.
I don't know. It's this big green
It's a big
pepper,
green
but they're
pepper.
sliced and they come from they're in cans. And then you put cheese in it and you just wrap it all together on the wonton wrapper and you fry it. It's like one of my all-time favorite foods ever. Like this has been a birthday meal for me in a few years in a row. Not last year. We did something last year, but like for years I've always had chili rellenos for my birthday. My mom makes it really good. We went to a restaurant once a few days before, like a week or two before, and they had chili rellenos there. It wasn't as good as my mom's. It was the best thing on the menu.
It was the best thing on the menu.
What's that?
I have no idea.
Sorry, I just heard beeping. I don't know what that
Sound like
was.
a car.
Was that a car?
Squeaky car.
Scared me for a second. I'm still mixing this around. Again, this goes for literally anything you have on the stove. It will stick to the bottom and it can burn, and you just want everything to be cooked evenly, right? And so that's what we're doing here.
So for the arepas, they're pretty much ready on the side. I guess they could have gone a little longer, but there's like a crust.
But that also goes with preferences.
Yeah.
If this is basically cooked, you just let the other side cook. But if you want it toastier, totally go for toastier.
Yeah. But for the sake of time, I cooked them.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time. And plus, we can only entertain you guys so much for so long. What are you going to do with the ends once you're done cooking them?
The ends?
Don't you add something? But this is an example, though, to show.
What you meant by
No. But like, so remember when we were explaining why it's so important to have the arepas to be moist? Hold on, wait. Let me explain.
Okay.
Then you can explain what you're doing. My goodness. Okay, I'm just messing. So the reason why the dough has to be moist is because again, if it's too dry when you're like making it and rolling it out, it will be even drier on the stove when you're cooking it.
Yeah.
And it will crack on the edges, and that's how you know it's too dry. Here, it's not cracking whatsoever. It's not like it's a legitimate, good, moist arepa, and it's exactly what we want. Now, what she's gonna do? She's gonna explain.
Okay, so. Okay. I was confused. So, usually, like, if you have butter or anything, you can just put it on top. Usually, when I flip them, I just like.
But why? Like,
I have no idea.
That's not good. You're not supposed to say that.
Well, make it. Isn't it to like add more flavor?
Well, it's basically to add more moisture, especially if your arepas are too dry, and too crunchy. It does.
Is that really the
It
reason?
really depends. Yeah, that's why
Oh.
Mama said this is too dry. I put some butter on it.
Okay.
We used to add butter, so you get like a stick of butter and just like entirely
It's
cover
like
one end.
not a lot.
When I was younger, my mom actually taught me a lot on how to make arepas, and I used to be the designated arepa maker. Like I used to, like every Saturday, I was the one making them, and she's telling me that because it's like too dry or it's like whatever reason you put we used to put butter, but here we're putting pork fat or bacon fat, and yes, it does add flavor to it, just as important, but it does add more moisture to it, and like you just like grab the arepa. Butter. You can make it really buttery if you want. It just depends on what you want.
Yeah, I never actually asked questions. My mom was like, "Do this," and I was like, "Okay."
She learned a lot later. It wasn't until recently that she became our designated arepa maker.
Yeah. Yay.
That's okay. This I literally want to say this is done. Like this is so pretty now. It's just thickened up a little bit again with the water. The can of tomato sauce is perfectly good enough. It adds just the right moisture, and you boil it down. It gives it plenty of time to allow the flavors to work together and become buddies. If you do add water, you may have to boil it down some more. But this is what it looks like. It looks like an actual sauce. It looks like really good. It's really colorful, and trust me, very flavorful.
It tastes amazing.
Very flavorful. We're gonna let this cool down because right now it's like really hot.
So usually after you cook the first side of arepas, the second side's a lot quicker because usually from the first side it cooks almost all the way through, and the second side just to get whatever it didn't get on the first side. So these are almost done. I'm just gonna. Usually you just aim for like the char on the outside for the crust. So that's usually all I'm waiting for.
Poblano. How do you say that? Poblano peppers. That's what you use for the chili rellenos. Because it's not jalapenos. It's too spicy. I can't handle too spicy. The chili rellenos anyway are a little spicy.
Are they
but
spicy?
A wee bit. It depends on what can you're using. Are they like spicy? Like how they are processed? Are they like? Do they have like extra flavor?
I mean, they taste like pepper. I don't think.
Yeah, but it's not like they're canned peppers. It's just not like some cut pepper and they just like throw it on top. Like they are canned.
You can't do it with the bell pepper.
No, it's you just don't get the same amount of flavors. Like there's a lot of flavors when it comes to the poblano
really
peppers.
well with cheese.
It's so good. Like the way my mom makes it, I'm obsessed. Like I will fight you. If anybody tries taking my
Chili
rellenos from me, literally, like I will box you for it.
Yeah,
I don't care. I will box you for it.
She loves them very much. The water's running.
Are they done?
Can you turn that off?
It's been going. It's like the entire time.
Oh, seriously? I mean, technically.
Are you sure?
I would say give them like a little longer.
Okay.
It's a bit longer.
A little bit longer. The arepas, I do forget that the arepas do take a little bit longer sometimes. Sometimes I don't know why, but sometimes I feel like the beef take longer. Like the chicken.
No, the arepas take longer.
What is it called?
We
don't usually call this. This is what it is now.
Guiso?
Chicken guiso. I don't know. For some reason, in my head, this takes longer. I don't know why.
No, because
this is my job, and usually this is her job. And so, like me comparing the times, it's just like.
See, I have to make the arepas before she does. So usually, when I'm flipping them, when they're on the stove is when she's completely starting. Like she hasn't done anything. So usually they kind of end at the same time. But since she started doing the onions the same time I started making the arepas, these are taking a little longer.
Yeah. What she said exactly.
It's a longer.
Don't forget again, you can add cheese. So when you are making dough of the arepas, you can add shredded cheese of your choice. Again, we usually do add blended up corn. It's usually just a can of corn. We blended it up and then put it in the mixture along with the water, and then we mix it up.
Yeah.
Exact same process. You're just adding extra ingredients, and usually that's how we make it with the corn. We used to make it a long time ago with the cheese, but especially with me and my when I started dieting and having to cut dairy out, we stopped the cheese thing and we kind of transitioned slowly into the adding corn instead. This does not have any corn. We forgot about the corn, but
yeah, no, it's actually back there.
But this is actually a very traditional way to make it. It's very plain. If you want to add more to it, you totally can. But you can just stuff arepas with anything you want, really. When you just make arepas in the morning, sometimes we do like make eggs or scrambled eggs, and then when we were a lot younger, we used to add like with eggs and ham and then cheese, and then you just like you cut it open and you stuff it with ham, cheese, and eggs. Eggs are optional, and you just like bite
Or
into
you
it.
could do it on top, like you can put cheese, like a slab of mozzarella cheese on top, then like ham, and then you flip it over, let it cook for like a little while, then flip it back
we
over,
did it that way.
and then you put like a sunny side up egg on top. Gold. Haven't made that in a long time. It's a lot of work, but it's really good.
I don't think it's a lot of work. It's just extra steps for something different.
Well, I mean, it's like because usually the eggs take a while, and then when you flip it, it's like you got to be careful because the ham can just fly off, and then you got to somehow.
Well, it's not extra work, but it's just
Oh, I guess that's true.
I'm just saying, because you want proper, you want the right word to it.
Yeah.
I'm hungry. I want to eat now.
Okay, well, the arepas are almost.
Oh, jeez.
Aggressive.
I'm not gonna lie. Emily is left-handed. This just hit me. I do not. It upsets me. I do not know
My
why.
left-handedness.
It's not me being like. It's like for whatever reason. Like
you want me to
her
do it with
using
my right
her
hand?
left hand.
This is weird.
I don't know why. Like it just literally just kind of like upsets me.
Does this feel normal to you?
This is normal. Using your right hand.
How?
But when you use your left hand like this, it's weird. Like use your right hand. Use your right hand.
What? Now you're making me question everything.
Like look how normal this is. No. Like what is this?
Wait,
this is like, weird. No, but it's so upsetting because you really just like
upsetting.
You're just like. Like I feel like she's just making her life hard.
I'm not making my life harder. Oh, okay. So you just want me to?
Why are you throwing them around? You let me throw them.
I'm not.
She's bullying the arepas.
I'm not bullying the arepas. I'm making sure if they're cooked.
Chill. Oh my goodness. Just like
I see
around.
Like it's like a minute or two left. It's like I've been doing this entire time. Only now you notice.
No, I've noticed this a couple times. I told her this in the past. Like
she has told me this. I do something with my left hand.
Right
like, why are you left-handed?
Same with her. I see because she makes cards. She's the card maker in the family, and I see her doing this. And then, I'm sorry. It's just like, what are you doing?
It's just
use your right hand. Like I feel like people with right hands, like when they write with their right hand, it's just more graceful. Like, okay, and it's probably just me being biased because I'm a right hand person.
It is.
I'm right biased. I'm right dominant, and it's just like, but she's like. Like she's like writing. Like, what are you doing?
I cut scissors with my right.
That's weird.
Well, that's because there's no left-handed scissors.
Wow. Probably because they agree with me that you're a little crazy.
No, it's just because there's a lot less.
I don't know why. It's just probably like odd or something. Like it's like literally like use your right hand. Use your right hand.
Why? Okay, I think they're done.
You sure?
Yeah.
They're gonna be soft. Again, this is gonna go how you like your arepas. If you want them to be thick and crunchy, you go a little bit longer. If you want them to be nice and soft and moist inside, you don't have to go as long, but they are still technically cooked.
You can technically eat the dough raw, so don't be afraid of it being undercooked.
Yeah, this just goes preference wise. Because corn flour is not the same as all-purpose flour. All-purpose flour you don't typically eat raw. It's not good for you. It's like, for example, people want edible cookie dough. That's why they say to microwave. Even though using the microwave, they would say microwave or bake your flour to get the germs out because flour is not technically clean, especially that's why you sift it. We explained that in our last live. Go check that out if you want. What did we make? We made chocolate peppermint cookies, and we were talking about sifting out the flour. And flour is not technically clean, and so sifting them out, again, it's pretty rare, especially in the United States if you get a good brand. Very rare, but again, flour you don't want to eat raw, and so if you're making this with flour, which I don't know what recipe you're making this with flour, you do need to make sure it's cooked. But
See, chosen blade has sympathy for me.
Why?
No left-handed scissors? What a terrible world. I agree.
No, be right-handed, people.
Okay. Yeah, just a little bit.
So we're gonna show you.
Can I push this forward a little?
No, you cannot.
Yeah, I'm doing it on the thing that
Knives down, people. You always, when you're carrying knives, especially around the kitchen, you always have them down. You don't have them up. That's not safe.
Not safe.
Even though when I'm cutting the food, I eat
Or when she's talking, she's like,
it's not safe. All right, so you got the arepa here. We have it on a plate, right? So what we're doing, show your people.
Okay. Here's the arepa.
You're holding it like this.
Okay, now how did you grab onto it?
It's not hot. Okay, don't mess this up. Do you have to grab a thicker one?
No,
This is why they're thick, because what we're doing is we're making pockets. They're not sandwiches, unless you want sandwiches. My dad's going to scold me. Put the knife down. Anyway, we are not making sandwiches. Usually stuffed arepas, you just cut down to here. So you're going to cut inside the knife, with the knife inside the arepa until here. And you're going to be making a little pocket. I'll show you in more detail. But we're not making sandwiches. You're not going to cut all the way down, stuff it. It's usually a lot more messy that way. Using this, it's like kind of like empanadas. You're making pockets out of them. Okay. Like she kind of just did it already. Let me show you. So you got the arepa here. Yeah, it's really hot. And you're grabbing the knife. Obviously, being careful. You're going to slowly kind of go down. Go down the edges if you have to.
She's a lot more skilled at that than I am.
You hold on to it. And you're going to basically cut down the inside like that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now it is getting hot. I can feel the heat. But you see how it's like a pocket now? We're not down here, right? The ends are perfectly fine. We're just like that, and that's where you're going to put your food in. This can go for anything. You can put anything you want in here. Obviously eggs, ham, whatever you want. This is how we're going to do it. This is like a little pocket. It secures your food. Doesn't fall on the bottom unless you break it. That's one thing. Or it soaks completely through. That's what we're talking about. Boiling this down so it's not too liquidy. Load me up. Can you get 2 spoons?
Did you say 2 spoons?
2 spoons.
Yeah, you said 2 spoons.
Yeah, that's what I said.
It sounds like you're saying
she heard what I said. Okay. Spoon.
Oh.
You scoop up your chicken ogao. And we're putting it in there like that. You can start grabbing some.
Yay.
It's super hot. Scoop it up. Try to make sure I'm in the screen.
Stuff it in.
And then you stuff it in.
You could like stuff it with cheese or.
Yes, if you want cheese, you can totally just, put it at the bottom where it's most sturdy.
And then you can sauces on top, but maybe not for this.
There's a lot of flavor in here anyway, and you can obviously add more heat to it while you're cooking if you want, if you like spicy. You're supposed to be showing your people. Why are you opening
My
it?
bad.
Just like that.
You added more.
And then it's just a little pocket, see? Completely fine on the bottom.
It's like a sandwich.
And then just like that.
Wait
till I'm over here. Jeez.
Okay.
It's fine, eat without me.
Well,
and there's a little wee pocket.
Yay! Can I eat it now? Cheers.
Cheers. You can also add avocado too if you want. This is literally one of my all-time faves. We make this so often.
Very good.
It's literally so good. And so flavorful. Like everything about it is so good.
Very nice. It's like the arepas are very good base for the chicken. And the chicken's obviously the star of the show, but it has a very nice, the 2 flavors match very well.
It's so satisfying to eat. overall, 10 out of 10. I'm so happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go make this. It's really nutritious. Good carbs, great flavor, protein. Again, you can use chicken, beef if you're vegan or you don't want to use chicken or beef. You can't use tofu. But overall, it's actually so good. Like one of my favorites. We're gonna enjoy this and enjoy this. We're gonna stuff ourselves because I'm not kidding. Like I literally love this so much.
It's very good.
But that is it. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for joining us in this live. Today we did make stuffed arepas with chicken ogao
Or guiso.
guiso. Yes, same thing. But in Colombia, it's called ogao, and Central and South America, it is a very traditional base sauce that's used for everything. I mentioned, I cleared that up and specified in the beginning of this video. So if you want to go check that out, go check that out. Like and subscribe. If you have any comments or questions, let us know. We will answer. Subscribe and subscribe to Emily. Self-Reliance for You. She has great content. Also, we talked about Andrew. Andrew who slays. He's also a great cook. What is it? Savory cooking for you. Savory cooking with Andrew?
Savory cooking.
I am mixing our names up. Sweet cooking with Sarah. Self-Reliance for You. Savory cooking
with Andrew.
Go subscribe to all those channels. And again, we love you guys so much. And we'll see you in our next live. And go check out our other content because we have great recipes on there. And so yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye guys.
Oh my gosh.